Well, you are on the ground in Iowa. Talk about what the feeling is in Iowa and what's going on there.
Well, I heard something about this week. There's going to be some sort of a caucus or something. I don't know. There's a lot of people talking about politics. It's kind of strange. I mean, this is the political universe for the time being. I think Wednesday it might be a pretty empty place, but until then, there's a lot of people converging on Iowa right now.
Is there like an air of excitement in Iowa right now? Are people talking about this? I mean, in other words, do they talk about it as much in Iowa as we're talking about it outside of Iowa?
I think so. We stopped by a couple different restaurants, and one of our goals here, I'm here with Big Voices Media. Billy Tucker out of Jacksonville started this media company. What we're really trying to do is put the microphone back in the hands of the people. So we're not relying on the spin that the mainstream media is giving us. Mm-hmm. And what we wanted to do is stop by, for example, restaurants that these candidates have been at. And typically, you know what happens. When you see it on the news, it's staged. Yeah. When you see it from a campaign's perspective, it's what they want you to see. And so what we wanted to do is to go there after the fact and talk to them and say, okay, give me the real story. How did they act? How did they behave? How did your customers really interact with them? And yeah, they're entrenched in this political atmosphere right now. And we stopped by a coffee shop yesterday that, I don't know if you saw the video, where Michelle Bachmann had stopped there days ago, and the Occupy folks interrupted, and even the owner of the coffee shop, this lady, kicked them out. Mm. And so we went to this restaurant, or to this coffee shop yesterday, Java Joe's, downtown Des Moines, Iowa, and talked to them for a bit. And MSNBC was actually set up with a makeshift studio in their coffee shop doing all of their interviews.
Wow.
So it is everywhere. I went to the convention center yesterday afternoon, in downtown Des Moines, where the media is set up. They have a huge room where all things media, I mean, the media universe is right there. And then all these trucks. I joined Steve Bannon, who was doing a radio show on Breitbart TV, and it's just insane how much concentration and how much money is being spent on this caucus.
Well, we're hearing that, Romney's going to do well. We're hearing that Ron Paul's going to do well. But what are you hearing on the ground in Iowa?
I hear a lot of people that it seems to me that they're not really sure yet. And here's the thing. When you say Romney's going to do well, all of this stuff is about this polls. And look what's happening to these polls. Now they're all getting closer. Now it's a three-way race or a four-way race, or somebody's emerging and all of this. And the polls today are going to say, well, we're just going to have to wait and see till tomorrow because it's so close.
That's right.
It's all political theater.
Yes,
all political. Yes. For all these last several months, you get somebody who rises in the polls, and then they get shot down because they get so much attention, everybody shoots them down. Then somebody else rises in the polls, and now where we are, well, it's anybody's race.
Are you hearing any favorites coming out of people? In other words, are people saying, yeah, we would rather go with Romney than so-and-so. Well, we'd rather go with Ron Paul. I did some numbers in the last segment that Ron Paul did not fare well there in Iowa last time around. What are you hearing about what people are saying who they may go with?
Well, the interesting thing about Ron Paul and Romney both is that they've been running for president for 5 years now, or whatever the number is.
That's right, yeah.
And so they're pretty established. Romney has spent so much money, it's unbelievable. He is the establishment candidate. He is the establishment favorite, because a lot of folks in the establishment are saying, well, he can beat Obama. I mean, notice the media puts that out every once in a while.
Yeah.
But they don't do it state by state. They do some national, popular vote poll, which doesn't actually mean anything as to how we get candidates elected. But what I find interesting is, 76% of Republicans voting against the establishment.
Yeah. Yeah, and after a while, you got to wonder why they are the establishment.
It's power. It's access. It's power. I don't know. I mean, the idea that Romney can beat Obama, I don't get that. Yeah. I just personally, and I don't know if you want to get into candidates or not, but from an Iowa's perspective, I don't meet many people that say, oh, yeah, I'm for Romney because he can beat Obama. That's an establishment line. Everybody else is really digging into the other candidates, and I don't think that people are really sure yet.
Yeah. That's interesting, very interesting. Also, Michelle Bachmann, this is her state, and my contention is that if she doesn't finish, she could finish third place if it's a strong 3. If she finishes less than 3, I think she's in trouble. Do you concur with that?
I do agree, and I look forward to this caucus and more states coming online with their primaries, because I'd like to get that non-Romney field whittled down a little bit.
Yeah.
So then the non-establishment folks out there can actually get behind one or two candidates, and then we can overtake the vote going further against the establishment.
Yeah. Iowans, bless their heart, have been just inundated with all kinds of ads, in particular negative ads, for the last couple of weeks. Is it your sense that those ads are working, or do people just kind of tune it out and go on?
I think it is overkill. It's way overkill. And I think people are sick and tired of negativity. And me personally, we have got to figure out a better way to choose our candidate. It can't be with 90-second answers, 60-second rebuttals, and 30-second commercials.
Yeah.
We've got to do more. Now, granted, we've had 112 debates. I'm not sure how many debates have we had so far.
We've had a bunch.
So we've got a lot of material out there, but you can't solve the country's problems. You can't talk about the solutions to the country's problems in 30 seconds.
Well, also, too, my problem with the debates, and Jason, I think you're the same way, is that, by the way, we're talking with Jason Hoyt out of, he's in Iowa this morning. I think that the questions being asked by the media are not good questions, because we tend to place a lot of power in the hands of the president, and I think we're wrongfully doing so. Our founders did not intend for the president to have this much power.
Amen. Amen. You nailed it right there. It's like everyone waiting. Oh, I can't wait till the Supreme Court rules on Obamacare. Guys, we're not an oligarchy. We're not waiting for 9 people in robes to come down from on high and tell us what our rights are. My rights come from God. The mandate doesn't apply to me. I don't care what the Supreme Court opinion is.
Yeah,
we have
good.
we have 2 other branches in the government that are supposed to be checking each other. So we got to find an all of the above strategy to get rid of that thing. And you're absolutely right. It's like with Ron Paul. People say, "Well, he won't go to war with Iran." Guys, if you want to go to war, call your congressman. Congress declares war.
That's right. And they declare war by funding these things. And so, if you want something done,
they declare war through the Constitution. Because of the Constitution, they do that in Congress, and then they allocate money for it.
That's right.
And then the commander-in-chief is going to carry out that war. And the way Ron Paul is, he's not going to have it as a ongoing, unending war. He's going to say, "Here's the metrics. Here's what success looks like. We're going to get in, and we're going to be very successful. We're going to get out." It frustrates me because you nailed it. It's like this expectation. We need a businessman. No, we don't need a businessman. I don't want a business. I don't want a government-run economy like in a business. It's like we have 70,000 pages of tax code. We need somebody who can get in there and manipulate 70,000 pages of tax code with business and CPA experience. No, we don't. I want someone to get in there and get rid of 70,000 pages of tax code and make it simple and get the government out of the way.
And bring it back to what the Constitution really says about taxation. Absolutely.
Amen.
All right, before I let you go here, Jason, give me a feel. What are you thinking? Who's going to do well? Who may not do so well tomorrow?
I don't know. I really don't know. Here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Romney, of course. The establishment has their 24% lock. Ron Paul has done very well here in Iowa. He's got a lot of traction. It's all about turnout. It's he's got a lot of the younger crowd, and it's whether or not they're reliable and they show up. But I tell you what, they're determined. But in the last week, Santorum has been rising in the polls. So, it's going to be those 3, I believe, that will come out of it with confidence out of Iowa. But just real quick, for tonight and tomorrow night, we'll be broadcasting live here in Iowa. If you go to streetvoiceslive.com, that's streetvoiceslive.com to register. We're broadcasting live tonight and tomorrow night as well. even Catherine Engelbrecht from Texas, she's out of Houston, with True the Vote. She's going to be coming in this afternoon. She'll be on our live broadcast for both tonight and tomorrow night, talking about voter fraud.
Yeah, so. Do you know Catherine?
Yeah, I do. She's a
great
sweetheart.
Yeah.
I went to their national rollout. I've been doing everything I can in Florida to get people to pay attention and get involved with True the Vote, because they've done the Lord's work. God bless them and their efforts and everything they've gone through. I really support what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. How can people get more information about Jason Hoyt?
Well, all over the place. I'm on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Jason W. Hoyt, or my website, jasonwhoyt.com. But I'm going to be working the next several months and probably year helping out Big Voices Media. Go to bigvoicesmedia.com.
Excellent. Always a pleasure, my friend, talking with you. I appreciate it.
You as well. God bless you. Happy New Year, and thank you for all you do.
You too, Jason. Thank you, buddy. I'll see you, man.
Yep, bye-bye.